Okay, honestly, I don't know why every time I save and then load to come back in because I need to go and check on Poppy or something, the music breaks, so I have to like literally then go back to the very beginning and reload and like go through everything to get the music back. So I'm sorry if this part in the lab has like no music. It's not intentional, it's just the music just stops working when you try to load a save. So forgive me for this. I apologize. I'll put something in the background, maybe if I remember to do so. Either way, bear with me. The hallway is a dead end and every door is locked tight with passcodes. At least there's power to summon the doors, if not the lights. Time for a peek. You take a deep breath and feel a surge of determination inside of you. First try, first try, first try. You do your best and manifest the code you typed in the first time. Will it be so you can skip the void? You give it a shot, and it doesn't work. Hell! With a grimace, you start to reset. Gah, somehow it's gone worse than the last time. You sink into an inky, cold sludge that feels like 1,000 centimeters made of goo climbing across you, the little legs pricking your skin and making it itch. Meanwhile, the sludge continues to pull you further into the darkness and weighs you down. You are simultaneously drowning in gunk while gooey centipedes crawl across you. It's not painful, but the sensation of wrongness you feel by the situation unnerves you. You feel nauseous. The hands are on you again. There is a way. Going through the vents. You shudder. You return to reality and shudder. The distorted voice echoed in your mind, reverberating against your skull. You try to rub your arms to eliminate the lingering feeling. The voice suggested the vents. On the surface, the vents are too small to crawl through, but perhaps it's different for monsters. You look around for an air vent. You find one at the bottom of one of the walls. It is easy to pry off once you get a grip. With the light of your soul, you have no trouble finding your way through. There is a layer of grime and dust in it, though. Oh well. There's a ladder attached to the vent. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and explore. And go get the piece of paper. I will be right back. Okay, so we're still in the lab, and we picked up the paper, and then we've come across the hidden room again. Now, we're going to investigate the glint this time, because we didn't last time. The glint comes from a wall of shelves. On the shelves are smooth black marble plates with a reddish hue. You stare at them for several seconds. You remember now where you had seen such things. Magical plates, you recognize them from your history textbooks. They were used prior to the invention of video cameras. You see a lot of them still has a glow. You pick one at random and tap it, curious if it still works. There is a long pause and then a reddish hue vanishes. More colours take its place as a scene inbuilt on the marble plate. It's a video with a grimy filter. The filter comes from actual dust and grime on the marble plate. You try to rub it off to make it clear. It doesn't help much. These plates have not been cleaned or cared for in a long time. You choose to refocus on watching the video. You see a metal room and a table at the centre. There are more tables beside it lined with tools. It is too blurry to see the details of the tools. You infer it's similar to an old-fashioned operating room due to the vague shapes and placement of objects. You actually look remarkably similar to the previous room you were in, albeit with less equipment and messy papers. The image blinks. There is someone now on the table. It is a human woman. Uh-oh. A knot forms in your gut as you realize she is without clothes. She is strapped down to the table. Her blue eyes are wide with blatant fear, and then you start to hear her whimper. Oh no. It feels unreal. You freeze, your mind doing an internal hiccup as you stare at the screen. The only time you've seen a similar situation was in a movie. This is a vastly different situation in a movie. You know it's not real. You know the scary things are make-believe and the people in them are okay. You do not think you have heard of any human who has made it out of Underfell. You keep watching. You don't want to watch, yet you can't look away. A tall monster walks into the room. He has a black coat that goes to the floor, and he doesn't look normal. The ends of it waves and flickers like a candle shadow. You hear a shiver down your spine. Hello, says the monster. It's one word. It's not a mean word. It's a word you could use. Hello. There is nothing wrong with that word, so why does it give you a shiver when he says it? She's plainly terrified of her mind, and his voice drips with freezing apathy. The red lights in his eyes are equally No, his gaze is not is not that of indifference. Indifference, you feel, would have been better. You have a bad feeling about this. I see my assistant has made you comfortable, continues the monster. He has a deep and smooth voice, but you cannot ignore the chilling undertone. There's a cruel curiosity to this monster, and his eyes remind you of a child who found a new toy. Oh no. Oh god, this is Gaster! Oh no! He walks around the table and you get a better look at him. He wears a red sweater underneath that black coat and a pair of black pants. He looks distinctly familiar. You think he reminds you of Papyrus and Sans, so perhaps he's a skeleton monster. He has long arms and white hands, perhaps bony hands? You squint to try and see and you can't tell. More white hands are conjured in the air around him. Only hands, no arms attached to them. One hand goes over the table and picks up a metal tool. Another picks up a clipboard beside the woman and hands it to the monster. Please, she croaks out. Please, the monster repeats. I told you everything, she whimpers. Please let me go home. Yes, it is noted here that you've been very cooperative, says the monster in an agreeable manner. You are the first human contact since the sealing, so your kindness has been appreciated. On behalf of the Underfell, we thank you. So can I go? No, he says. You cannot leave. Why would you be able to do? Why would you be able to? Her face screws up and she whimpers, turns to hiccups, she starts to sob. Ah yes, crying, because I will surely solve your situation. He sounds amused. Please, she croaks. Please, please. Goes the monster as he reaches out around the table and pulls up another strap by her head. Oh god. Please let me. He wraps the strap around her mouth and she falls silent. You see a glow around the strap. Perhaps magic? Was it enchanted to cancel noise? That's better, he says with a smile. That gives you goosebumps. He steps back and takes the tool that he's picked up by one of his floating hands. I'll start the dissection now. Dissection? Holy moly, boo bars and fudging biscuits and... Oh my god, wait, is he gonna... Oh my god, is he about to cut her open? Kids, divert your eyes, cover your ears. Oh my god. You realize that he's holding a scalpel and he drags the blade from the center of her chest down to her navel. You do not need to hear her scream to know she was. Even behind the strap of her mouth, her expression is contorted in agony. She writhes and thrashes against the bindings on the table, but it has no avail. I know humans aren't supposed to... Oh, God. God. Gaster, why? Oh, my God. I know humans aren't supposed to turn to dust when they die, but it's been a long time. Who knows what has changed since the war? I have to be cautious. I don't want to waste this opportunity, he says. I would do my best to keep you alive through this process. Since I am doing my best, I hope you also would do your best to survive. His smile stretches. Then, in the next experiment, I'll let you take something to numb the pain. He pauses. He smiles. Maybe. Oh my god, Gaster. I'm trying to woo this one? Oh no. The video shuts off. The black marble plate has a reddish hue again. Red like her blood. You glance at the rest of the crystal tables. There must be over 100 of them. 100 experiments. Oh god, you feel nauseous. This is horrible. You feel terrible for the victims and you feel terrible for the monsters. It comes out in waves of nausea. You feel your stomach empty, churning, and your throat burns. You swallow repeatedly to try to keep whatever it is bubbling from coming up. The room suddenly smells foul and it's difficult to breathe. Your heart pounds painfully in your chest. Terrible, awful, horrible. A shudder goes through you like a cold wind on a wet day. You violently shiver, wrapping your arms around yourself. Breathe, breathe. Don't get sick. Don't get sick. You're okay. You're okay. No, you can throw up if you want. It's fine. You literally just witnessed something horrible. You get it. You hate it, but you get it. The monsters had just lost a war against humanity and were probably getting used to their isolation underground, and a human, they suppose enemy, falls into their lap. You don't think humanity so fresh out of war would have been kind to a monster who escaped? It's a terrible situation, a tragedy. Hell, hell, hell! Ugh, you understand. You do. You really do. But don't accept it as the answer. You acknowledge the truth, but you know it could be better. You can make it better. People, monsters, humans can do bad things. You want to show them it doesn't have to be that way. That's all you can do. You decide to look for more notes to read. You find another one taped on the wall, partially hidden by another diagram. Knock knock. Probably who's there? Time for who? Time for you to sleep. You haven't been home in a week. It's not a joke. Stop shortcutting out of the room when I enter, otherwise I will fill the entire lab with sleeping gas. Go home. Oh my god, is that Gaster talking to Sans or the Sans talking to Gaster? You wonder what shortcutting is. You reach out to touch the paper. It seems like whoever owns this room has someone who worries about them. You wonder if the owner of this room is the same one who... You see more notes. These are scrunched up and you carefully unwrap them. You flip them over. The page is ripped at the point and you set it back down. This is when you notice a trash bin is filled with scrunched up paper. You dump them on the floor and look through them. Oh my goodness. There are dozens of papers with scrawled writing, each one starting off with one line that gets scratched out. It's like whoever wrote these greatly struggled. Good lord. What was so difficult for them to say? You see one more note and you pick it up and carefully unwrap it. That's enough for now, you think. You'll hold the final note in your hand. Okay. Smells like I've seen this before. You want to jump down to the next. Okay, so at this point, after we've seen all that, when you reach the bottom floor, you kick up the vent and clamber out. You could, you suppose, purposely visit the void to meet the entity who helped you. Do you want to? Yes. Okay, so now the music is back. Yay! Okay. Let's see. You take a deep breath, steadying breath. You mentally prepare yourself for the discomfort you're about to force on yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. You can do this. You can do this. The thought of encountering the entity fills you with determination. You drop into the void. It's colder than the last time. For many seconds, all you can focus on is the sheer cold, and your body is stiff and heavy, and your heart beats slow to a point where it's difficult to breathe. You try to speak but cannot. You want to ask the entity why it's helping you. I am awake because of you. You. Their voice echoes in your mind and you shudder. Don't you want to, ask, what the hell happened? I know that you were the one who did all those experiments, but you know what? Maybe we just don't want to ruin the mood with our Skelly, since we're still trying to get with him. Well then. The voice echoes in your head and you shiver. You open your eyes and take a shaky breath. The void alternates in how it's uncomfortable. The only thing that is constant about it is the sense of wrongness being there, to think anyone is still there. Again, you have to go in it again. It's difficult to keep yourself there. Every inch of your soul and body detests it. It's a mental struggle to force yourself to go back. You already set yourself on this path, and you will see through. You give yourself time to warm up again, and then you take that plunge. You ask the entity if it can help you. You can imagine the void is a good place to stay. It has helped you after all. I do not know, but thank you for asking. Yeah, because we want to help you. We need you out of here so that way we can be together. You want to help the entity. There must be a way. Maybe one day. Being awake is enough for now. You can't take it anymore. You fall back into reality and want to throw up. You bend over to your knees, gasping and wheezing for air. You feel violently ill. If you had any food in your stomach, you are certain you would have thrown it up. Biscuits, biscuits, biscuits. Your body is trembling and your legs feel weak and you are forced to take a seat. Your soul flickers out and you are left in the darkness to recover. It takes a long time to feel okay. You don't want to go back. You don't. You really don't. And yet you have to. You hate it. You hate it, you hate it. It crawls over you. It is so wrong. There is no other words to describe it. It's a violation against nature itself, and you're doing something terrible. You are doing something horrific. You are filled with shame, and yet, you ask the entity why. Being asleep, I could feel myself falling away. It's worse than dying. Yes, you can agree. Being in the void is officially worse than death. No one deserves this. No one. And you want to help the voice. The hand caresses your head. Thank you. I do not know if you can. You want to try. You cannot see, but you can feel. And your repeated trips into the void have allowed you to adjust how your body reacts to that world. You slowly, agonizingly slowly, reach out and grasp one of the hands. You squeeze the entity's hand in an attempt to comfort them, and they squeeze you back. I will think. Will you come back? You promise you will. Thank you, my dear. Okay, you are done. You are definitely done with this. You slump against the tile floor. You've never been so exhausted. You're going to need some time to recover. Okay, so we've just finished going to talk with him. We're going to recover, and hopefully now the events involving Flowey is not going to break the route. So I will be back in just a second. Okay, now we have arrived into Hotland. We just parted ways with Flowey since Alfie said that they were going to help him, since we helped her, and we already left Gaster back there for now. So, it's just you now. You walk across the Hotlands, the air prickling your skin. Each breath is uncomfortable, and you can feel yourself drying out each step. It's surprising you how much the weather is affecting you in the underground cave. You wonder what the city will be like. Will it be snowy like Snowden, wet like the marshlands, or will you finally find an area that's a pleasant climate? Looking up, you notice the stalactites have those red crystals in them, as well as some black ones. Not that these areas need the light. The lava is bright enough that it forces you to squint when you look at it. When you cross another bridge, you spot a familiar figure. It's Sans. He seems to be sitting behind a wooden sentry station, and you joyfully go over to Sans. Sans spots you and he gives a wink. Hey, sweetheart, fancy meeting you here. You can't fight your grin. You make your way over to him and lean against the sentry post, and you tell him you're happy to see him. He gives you a smile. You want a chimichanga? First one's free just for you, as long as you don't choke in them anymore. You would love one. Thank you. Sans flicks one finger up, and you watch a chimichanga float into the air. It hovers between the two of you for several seconds until it's placed atop your head. You take the chimichanga off your head and curious why he put it on your head. Sorry, didn't realize you had free hands. I was too busy staring at more important things. Sans leans forward, his sharp teeth turning into a crooked smirk. Oh, you smirk. Does he like what he sees? Sans leers. What do you think, sweetheart? You set the chimichanga down and put your hands on the sentry post. You lean forward and lean back, his face turning red. Moving kind of fast, aren't you, human? Is he scared? He scoffs and turns his head away and coughs. Me? I ain't scared of shit. He turns back to smirk at you. And neither you, huh? Awfully bold of you to make moves on me and my bro. What can you say? You like them both. He's not opposed to it, is he? Sans shrugs. Neither thought about it before. And now? He points to chimichanga you had previously set down. Give it a try, will you? Well, you note he didn't answer you. You also know he didn't reject you either. Pursued until told otherwise. Within reason, of course. You know how to take a hint, and you don't want to overstep your boundaries when it comes to romance. You try the chimichanga and it's good. Surprise? Sans teases. I'm pretty good, huh? The boss makes a mean lasagna, but me, I prefer the simple foods. Stuff you can make on the go. Sans absentmindedly taps his knuckles against the wood as he watches you eat. You ask, who's there? He freezes at your question. His red eyelids shrink. You guess that this is a skeleton equivalent to white eyes, and then suddenly he grins. Robin, he says. Robin who? Robin you, he says, with a wink. He's already got your heart, what does he want? A heart to share, he points out. Sharing is caring. Your turn. Knock knock. Who's there? Sans asks, his grin widening. Alice. Alice who? Alice Ferry in Love and War. Sans laughs in delight. Alright. I got another one. Knock knock. Who's there? The two of you go on back and forth with knock knock jokes. They get surprisingly raunchy as you go on, but they are no less fun. Sans prepares a second chimichanga for you, and he eats one with you. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. You do try to ask him some harmless questions. Favorite colors, taste in music, food preferences, but he has a talent for sidestepping your queries. Nevertheless, you still have a lot of fun with him. Well, yeah, because he literally shares, he's eating one with you. That's completely different from before. He's much happier because we're sharing. Unfortunately, it doesn't last long as you'd like. I gotta get going, he says. Gotta meet with the boss, you know? You sigh. You'd love to meet with them both at the same time. Here, he says with a wide grin. He offers you his bottle of water. You laugh as you accept. Satiated, he asks you. Nope. I should have guessed, he said. He watches you take a sip from the water and he says, knock knock. Knock knock, sweetheart. Who's there? Owl. Owl who? I'll be seeing you again, right? Absolutely. He winks. Good. If you get through the city, I'll be waiting. You beam. It's a date. This makes him laugh. Then his whole body shivers out of existence as he disappears in a pop. Oh, it looks like Sans can teleport. That's neat. You're excited about your dates. You want to get through the city quickly. Okay, this is completely different from both Sans and Papyrus's route. Because Sans is definitely more cheerful and happier. And he also isn't hinting that anything is off by here. So far. So I don't know if we're going to have to fight him in Judgment Hall or not just yet. But it seems to be going well. I think this is a much happier, positive reaction compared to like the one you get in Papyrus's route, where obviously he flat out freaking kills you. And whereas in Sans's route, you can tell he's happy, but at the same time, there's like something off. So, it's vastly improved. Okay. Now we're going to go over to the bunny monster by here. The bunny monster raises a hand at you and he tries to catch your attention. What could that mean? Because I believe he has something for you. The bunny monster smiles at you. He's a head taller than you and he's wearing black overalls and a red tunic. Hey, you're Twinkle, right? You confirm. Great, I got a message for you, he says. He pulls a note out of his black overall pocket and holds it out to you. You open it up and it reads, meet me at Requiem, Papyrus. Your eyes widen in surprise. You can't contain your smile. Papyrus wasn't waiting here. Let's see. Papyrus was waiting for you, says the bunny, but you took too long. You detour to the lab was likely the result. Also, the bunny reaches out in his cart. A cold air rushes out of it. He pulls out a red-colored ice cream cone and offers it to you, and he smiles. One dice cream cone. Dice cream? The sweet treat you gamble on, but it's not always sweet, he says. Sans asked me to give you one. Oh! Your indigo eyes brighten. Yeah, he was here just a moment ago. He told me to make sure you got a good one. Oh, that's so cute. It's a combination of them both. It's so sweet, he says. You happily accept the treat. When you take a bite, you find that it's pleasantly sweet and spicy. He was very clever. He was very clear. Spicy like Twinkle. Says the monster. No gambling this time around. It's delicious. Oh my god. The bunny takes a bow. Why, thank you. I'm Todd, by the way. If you hadn't already gathered, I sell ice cream. You asked him if he know me have to gamble on the ice cream. Most of the time, yeah, but I made an exception for friends, he says. Sounds isn't something you can say no to, you know? You nod. He's very charming, isn't he? Todd laughs at you. You're funny. Oh, I forgot. My niece Puffer sends her regards. That's good. Alright. You beam. You tell me you were delighted to make her acquaintance. Yeah, because she was one of the children. She told me. You finish your ice cream too quickly. If you're still around tomorrow, you can have a free one on me, he says. That's so nice. You sank him and head on your way. Enter the core. Okay, so. Let's see. End of Hotline. What a journey you've had so far. Let's see where you are. You currently have 2 of the 3 necessary components to unlock the true ending for the routes. Congratulations. That is the max you can have by this time in the story. You have a potential of 3 monsters to smooch. Are you really going to try for all of them? I was right. It is Sans, Papyrus, and Gaster. You saved Dr. Alphys in exchange. She'll help out fly you. Okay, what does this say, though? I'm so curious. What does he say here? You have only died 9 times. Okay, by here he says, thank you, my dear. I think he says by here. Okay, so now we're going to go and enter the core. So I will be right back when I do that. We are now at the city. Let us continue, shall we? So first of all, human! 2 monsters in black and red armor approach you. They are tall, muscular, and imposing. Their armor is styled like knights of old, and each one carries a trident. You can conclude they are from the royal guards, as their outfits do remind you of Papyrus and I. The first one approaches you and says, You, are Twinkle? You confirm you are. You introduce yourself. We were, ordered to keep an eye on you, explained the other guard, and I'm Papyrus and not to kill you unless you act aggressively. You assure that you have no intention of doing that. They gave you a thumbs up. You beam and return the gesture. What the fit? Shrills a voice. You and the 2 guardsmen are approached by a group of monsters, ranging from a cat-like monster to a mini volcano monster and several bat-like monsters. The cat monster growls, "You're letting a human go? What if he attacks us?" "Humanity is our enemy," agrees the volcano monsters. "We can't trust it. Arrest it at least." "That is enough!" The guards straighten up and the civilians immediately flinch. Papyrus strides towards your group from behind the civilians. They immediately separate, each one clamoring to move out of the way. The guards salute to Papyrus when you rise. His eyelids waver as he assesses the group as a whole. His expression is, as always, difficult to read, but you think he seems annoyed. If that is enough, is not, he literally just heard them shouting to arrest me and to get rid of me. Of course he's annoyed. I'm his friend. But more than that, I'm trying to go out with him. His eyelids waver as he assesses the group as a whole. His expression is always difficult to read, but you think he seems annoyed. Nonetheless, you are happy to see him. You give him your warmest, happiest smile. Papyrus smoothly steps in front of you and turns around to address the group. "This human is with me. Disperse." There's a moment of hesitation as Papyrus' back is turned to you. You cannot see his face when he growls, "Now!" But you do see that everyone visibly winces. The civilians scurry away and the guards are left after saluting Papyrus again. Papyrus turns to you. He folds his arms across his chest as he haltedly looks down at you. "We have unfinished business, human." "Oh? You did not have a final meal at Snowdale as per my orders," he says. "Therefore, I will watch you have it here to make sure you follow through this time." "Oh? Who told him?" You gasp it and excitedly ask if it's a date. Papyrus clears his throat. To your bewilderment, you see a light dusting of red under his eye sockets. "Call it what you want. Let us go, human." "It's a date. Your first one with a monster." Papyrus is a fast walker due to his height. Each step covers a long distance and he moves quickly. As he walks, the monster scrambles to get out of his way. It's an odd thing to watch. You don't understand their urgency. It's nice of them to move for him, but the speed behind their movement speaks of a certain level of fear. That was not at all the presence in the monsters from Snowden when they talked about Papyrus. The children obeyed him. But you know he's capable of being dangerous, but you also knew that's not his natural inclination. In other words, it's not him. Really. Yes, he puts up a front to look strong and scary, but when you get underneath the facade or like the thing he puts up, you see that that's not who Papyrus is. Given the choice, if Papyrus was allowed to be himself, he'd probably be one of the nicest monsters you would get to know. Sure, he's got a rough exterior, but he's a gentle soul at heart. After all, you died against him. Each death against him, your soul brushed against his soul. You know he has killed 2 humans before and captured 20 others. Even if he did not directly kill those other 20, he indirectly led to their deaths. Perhaps they were used to test subjects like Nathaniel was. Poor Nathaniel. Papyrus didn't strike you as an ignorant or slowly witted. He must have known what happened to those humans, and it weighs on him. Yeah, he must always feel guilty about it. He doesn't want to hurt others. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. At least you die in battle, human. This is the only mercy I know. I don't want to do this, human. Why did it come here? Why did you come here? I'm so sorry. These 3 messages linger in your heart, for they felt the sincerest from his soul. He is not a bad person. In fact, you think he'd be kind if he felt he was allowed to. See, that's what I mean. Papyrus wouldn't do this otherwise. He would not act this way otherwise. He would be gentle. It's a terrible thing when a kind person has to do unkind things. The weight in his soul is heavy. Human, you are too slow, says Papyrus. He has stopped to allow you to catch up. You protest. He has longer legs than you. Papyrus offers you his hand. We will walk at your speed. How kind of him. You appreciate it. I am a magnificent and honourable monster, Papyrus confidently declares. I know how to escort someone. You take his hand. His red gloves are cool to touch, and his fingers are much longer than yours. Let's see. Let's see. You've always been on the small side, but next to Papyrus makes you feel petite. You like it. You hope your palms aren't still sweaty from Hotland. You feel that warm tingle sing through your whole body as you look at Papyrus. You realize you very much like holding hands with him. Papyrus matches your pace as the two of you start walking. You don't know where to go, so you have to allow him to tag on you one direction or another. After some walking, the two of you arrive at your location. It is a building partially built in a cave wall. Its walls are a deep midnight blue and its windows are tinted violet. There's a sign above the door that reads Requiem. Papyrus lets go of your hand. You frown at that, and he opens the door for you like a gentleman. Ooh! Oh my goodness. You were not expecting the flowers. What flowers? Where did the flowers come into this? Hold on. The restaurant was awash in a cool blue, greys and purples. There was a stone wall fireplace crackling with azure flames. Oh my god, this place sounds beautiful. There are a dozen or so small tables with black covers and plush dark blue seats that look tantalizing comfy. There are pillars scattered between the tables that are covered in dark green vines that stretch up and envelop the ceiling. The ceiling that takes your breath away is an intricate web of viney purple blue flowers. Oh my, violet and blue flowers. Oh my god, I love these flowers. These are the best flowers by far. Thank you so much for making the flowers be a different colour in this area and not those wretched yellow ones. The flowers cover the ceiling entirely and descend the walls and pillars. As you walk, the flowers above bloom under your presence. Tiny wisps of white light are released from their centers and hover around them. They only provide a minuscule of light, so the entire restaurant is dimly lit. Cozy. It is also, you notice, only you and Papyrus. This is a lot more intimate than you expected. You wonder if Papyrus can hear how loud your heart is beating right now. A monster emerges beside the fireplace. There's a corner that you can't see and greets you both with a wide, toothless grin. The monster is a bit taller than sand and has the characters of some kind of spotted lizard. The skin is a smooth black with electrical blue spots. Their eyes are closed, yet their head is pointed directly at the two of you. They're wearing a white chef's uniform with a black apron tied around their waist. They say, "Papy! I knew I smelt you! Who is your warm-blooded friend?" "Chef Kikoa," Papyrus greets with a smile. Anyone who can make Papyrus smile like that is instantly put them in your good books. You beam at Kikoa, although you do not know if they can see it. "This is my human." Oh my god, he just said, "My human. I am his human." Oh my goodness gracious me, I am his human. I feel flattered. Oh my goodness. It's getting hot in here. Gosh darn it all. I need to drink some water now. Excuse me, Papyrus, how dare you make me slightly flustered? How dare you? Papyrus says, "Human, introduce yourself." You politely introduce yourself. His human? Oh my! You glance at Papyrus, curious if you realize the implication of his words. Did that mean you could call him your skeleton? Oh my, the thought makes you smile. Probably makes you blush. Chef Cocoa's smile is curled. "I smell what's going on here." Excuse you? What do you mean? Papyrus sighs. "Yes, Cocoa, it is true. I have spared a human and now I am granting them a final meal before they leave." Chef Cocoa's head swirls left to the right as he looks at you and Papyrus. Uh-huh. Papyrus clears his throat. You notice his skull is a touch redder than before as he said, "That is all, Chef. Thank you for opening today." "Well, I had to, didn't I?" Chef Cocoa retorts, flicks his tail. "You sounded adorably abashed." "I did not." "You did." Oh my god. Oh, poor Papyrus. Oh, bless. This is also like the first time he's doing like a date without like anyone telling what to do, isn't it, as well? "You did," the chef dismisses. He extends a hand to you. You accept it, and he beams down to sniff your hand. "I knew it. You were even holding hands." This is going to be so hard to read. I love it, though. This is so cute. "That is irrelevant, Chef." Papyrus's voice is starting to sound high-pitched than normal. We will take our seats now. Thank you. Uh-huh, was all the chef said. He turns away and heads down the hallway beside the fireplace. Papyrus clears his throat. His skull is almost as red as his gloves. You ask Papyrus if he has a favorite table to eat at. Oh my goodness. This is so freaking cute. He shakes his head. No, I've eaten at all of them. He strives forward and pulls the seat back at one of the tables near a pillar. He gestures for you to sit. You do. Gracefully sliding into the chair, and you murmur a thank you to him as you do. You are welcome, he says. Papyrus takes a seat across from you. You worry if he'll be comfortable. It is a low table and low chair, and he has long legs. But you're a starman, and as soon as he sits down, the floor sinks down several levels just in front of his chair. The table height doesn't change. There's just now a deep divot in the floor for Papyrus to comfortably rest his feet. Papyrus nods through a gaping expression. Is it not normal for human restaurants? You shake your head. Sounds uncomfortable for tall and powerful people like myself, he says. You nod. Humans have different table and chair heights to compensate for that, though. They are workarounds. I see, he says. Tell me, what is human food like? Oh, where to begin? You tell Papyrus about the cuisine on the surface. There are some foods he recognizes, burgers, pasta, cakes, and others he does not. Pizza, hot dogs, dumplings, tacos, etc. So he excitedly asks you more questions. You answer each of them and ask him questions in turn. Humanity cuisines are not clearly as defined by the culture as they used to be since the Great War. The remaining countries have melded together like cheese in a fondue pot. There's little distinction. Some families try to keep their cultures alive, but most are happy to meld together. You explain your group of unique culture. Let's see. This one. The fusion was most apparent in food. Papyrus explains to you that this is also the case for Underfell. Before we were sealed, Papyrus explains, there used to be monster exchanges between the kingdoms. We would trade scholars, chefs, warriors, and many more with our allies so that we could learn and grow. Papyrus's red graves most of the fireplace. We are stagnant here. It's been a decade since someone thought of something new to eat. Aww. Your brow creases. So when he talks about stagnant, if you haven't watched like the rest of the episodes for this, stagnant means like they're not reproducing either, like they're not making new things. They can't. It's just because of like the rule of kill or be killed down here, you know, people aren't getting together romantically and stuff. So, you know, there's been new babies. So these are the last of the monsters down here, and it's pretty sad as there is. It does not help, he said, that we are restricted with what we can grow and raise. There are only so many combinations with limited ingredients. He shifts in his seat and folds his arms together, and he asks you, do you have a favorite food? You do. I don't know what my favorite food is. It's a mystery. His eyes like shine a brilliant vermilion. It sounds delicious. Yes, it does. You say it is. You know, a mystery. Maybe. Papyrus sits forward, his hand is outstretched and about to grab yours when suddenly, here you are, Papy and Cutie. Oh my, did he just call me Cutie? Oh my god, he called me Cutie. I thank you, chef. I appreciate being called Cutie. You pout at the interruption and you immediately grab Papyrus's hand yourself and give it a squeeze. He stiffens at your sudden contact and his eyelids zero in on your entwined hands. Oh, red. His skull is red again. Oh. So cute. Chef Gikoa places 2 steaming plates in front of you and Papyrus. His tail then places 2 tall drinks. Enjoy, says Chef Gikoa. Also, I may be blind, but I still have good hearing and these walls are thin, so Chef, Papyrus squawks. Yes, he says. Enjoy. Twinkle, do let me know if you can't eat any of this. It's been centuries since I last served humans. You look down. None of the food is recognizable and it's glowing neon. You tell the chef you'll be happy to give it a try, as it looks positively magical. Oh, you're clever, he says. I like this one, Papy. You squeeze Papyrus's hand and he squeezes back. Yes, he says. Thank you, Chef Gagoa. Any time. Now I'll be in the kitchen prepping for the week, he says. Chef Cocoa leaves the two of you. Papyrus stares at your hand, and you tell Papyrus you like holding hands with him. That is, good to know, he says. But we will need two hands to eat, so neither of you, let's go. Oh, we could try with one, I suppose, he says. Yeah, that sounds like fun. You agreed to do that. Oh my god, that is so freaking cute. It's not easy, but that's what makes it fun. Some of the food requires being cut up, so you and Papyrus have to tag team. Papyrus holds the knife with one hand and you hold the fork with another. Together you cupped up the neon blue thing that looks vaguely like a steak, but somehow smells like squash. When you have a piece ready for eating, you proudly hold it up for Papyrus to take the first bite. He has to bend down to eat it. That's so cute, though. It's a silly affair, really, yet neither of you can stop smiling. You take turn feeding one another, and there's a couple of times where Papyrus pretends to miss your mouth, so he smears it on your cheek. You laugh, he laughs. He smiles, you smile. It's a delightful experience. I can only imagine Sans is watching this, because again, like, Papyrus doesn't go anywhere alone with a human without Sans being nearby. So I imagine he's watching this and finding this absolutely adorable. Like, because I can't imagine Sans is not watching over what is happening here, because you're literally leaving your brother alone with Sans. Your brother alone with a human, which you don't know if they're hostile truly, if, you know, they're going to hurt them. He's currently got a knife, you know? So, Sans has been everywhere we've been so far, so I imagine he is spying. I would love to see what Sans' reaction is to this. That would be such a cool, like, little extra bonus scene if you could have seen, like, what Sans' reaction was to, like, the little date sequence with you and Papyrus, if he had been watching. Like, what he interpreted as, if he found it cute or if it worried him. The food is nice. It is a strange sensation to literally feel food fizz away into nothingness in your mouth. In your stomach. Magic food is directly absorbed as energy, and it does not pass through the digestive system. But it's not weird enough to dissuade you. There is a nice texture to the meal, and it's got a perfect balance of flavour. It warms you from the inside. Also, you really don't mind, since you're kind of focusing on a certain skeleton in front of you. It's unlike any recipe or dish you've had before. You try to think of anything that could remind you of it, yet nothing comes close. When the food is almost eaten, you ask Papyrus about his relationship with Chef Goa. Why did the monster call Papyrus his protege? He did? I didn't see him call him his protege. Did I, like, literally skip over where he said protege? Oh, goes Papyrus in an uncrisply quiet voice. That's because the chef taught me how to cook. Is Papyrus interested in cooking? I like it, he says. I'm good at it, like many things. You know Papyrus is very talented, and you praise him. And he turns his head and coughs. You love the meal. You love it if the meal would turn into dessert. You want to linger and you want to draw it out. You want to spend more time with him. It seems to be against Papyrus' nature to dawdle, however. As soon as you are both done eating, he takes the plates away. He disappears around the corner and reemerges without breaking a stride. There you are, human, your last meal, says Papyrus. Good job on completing your order. You thank Papyrus as he guides you out of the restaurant. His white hands rest on the small of your back, and you notice it fits perfectly there. Nice. Back on the street, you wonder what will happen next. You look up hopefully Papyrus. Maybe you could ask him for a walk? Before you can... Oh, God. Let's see. He removes his hand from your back. It's an instant colder without him, and you straighten up to his full height. And he says, you must leave Underfell now, human, and I must stay. This is our goodbye. That's not good. But you are not the type to give up now, are you? You disagree. No. It's too dangerous, he says. As long as King Asgore says humanity is our enemy, you will always be in danger in Underfell. You should not put yourself in danger, not for me, not for my brother. You think he and Sans are worth the danger. His demeanor shifts, and there's a softness in his voice and the posture that was not there moments ago. You were kind to think that. My, what do we have here? Coos a metallic voice. Not now, Metatron. We're having a moment. Can you please go away for now? I'm trying to woo Skellies. My, what do we have here? Coos a metallic voice. Papyrus stiffens. He straightens up to his full height and steps between you and the voice. Metaton. Hello, Papyrus, says the voice. You peek around Papyrus to get a look. The monster speaking looks like a humanoid robot. He has black hair that's been greased back, 2 pairs of yellow eyes, and 2 sets of arms. He wears neon pink knee-high spandex boots and heels and the black spiked pants. He has tall black shoulder pads and he wears neon pink and yellow gloves and has a broken heart belt around his waist. His smile is wide, reminds you of one of those news anchor smiles on TV. Not sincere, but not mean either. Metaton winks at you with one eye. All done talking to your human? Do you mind if I talk to her? What business do you have? Papyrus brusquely asks. The human should be leaving shortly. I merely wanted to ask you some questions, Metaton says innocently. You don't mind, do you, darling? You shake your head. There, see? They're all perfectly innocent. You can even sit and watch if you want. Papyrus lids lower further into a glare. I will. How adorable! Metaton offers you a hand. Come with me. Papyrus coldly rebuffs. Physical contact between human and civilians is forbidden. Okay, I'm curious here if that's just a general rule, or if it's just Papyrus really doesn't want him touching us. That's fine, between a human and a royal guard, right? Metaton draws out his voice, saturatingly sweet. Yes, says Papyrus as he takes your hand. Yay! He has your hand again! I can restrain the human easier this way. You choose to focus on the fact he's willing to hold your hand again and not too tightly either. Love it, says Metaton. Keep up the show, yes? Come. Metaton's not falling for it. Metaton's like, nah, I can see how you feel about this human, Papyrus. You can put up a front in front of everyone, but I see right through you. I see LOVEE on your face. I love... Okay, Metaton, okay. I'm sorry I sassed you. I'm proud you interrupted. This is funny. And I love it. Okay, so before we get to obviously the question that we need to get to for the next interaction, I do want to check what exactly is the trait for the white soul. So according to Metaton says, I saw it, it's white. You know what they say about that soul color. You shake your head. White is like a monster soul. Maybe you belong with us instead of the surface. You never considered that your soul color represented some kind of trait. I mean, it probably does. And I mean, it would make sense. I would love for it to be, it is monster kind that secretly turns out that maybe you are part monster. That would have been really funny. Righty-ho, now let's not dilly-dally and, trying to debate if maybe we are secretly a hybrid or something because we have a lovely white soul. Let's just get on with Metaton's dear question here. Human, do you love anyone? Metaton glances at Papyrus and then looks back at you with a sly smile. Tell me, darling, is there anyone in Underfell that's caught your attention? You cannot stop yourself from immediately glancing over at Papyrus. You wink at Papyrus, who stiffens in response. Even at distance, you can tell he's turning an adorable red. So cute. Oh my. Listening viewers, you are missing out. At our studio today, we have the mighty Papyrus himself, and the look between these two. Metaton looks like a cat who just learned how to work a can opener. Mischievously, please. You slightly add that his brother is charming as well. Metaton's eyes widen. Brother? You mean Sans? As in the annoying, stinky skeleton with a temper as short as he is? Watch your words! Papyrus growls from the back. I understand, says Metaton as he gestures Papyrus. A strapping royal guard is always swoon-worthy. Papyrus is definitely that. The other one I do not comprehend, says Metaton. He immediately puts his hand back under your soul to check if you're lying. You repeat yourself so he knows you aren't, and Metaton is aghast. Really? Him? You and Papyrus immediately start to defend Sans. Yes! Go, Papyrus! Defend your brother! Let them know that, there's more to Sans, You don't need to be so mean. I mean, it's like Papyrus. There's another side to Papyrus. There's also another side to Sans. I want to mention he's been super freaking cute in this harem route so far, and I absolutely love his reactions in this one. Anyway, but Metaton cuts off both of you with a wave of his hands. Well, I can't say that this is a twist I expected, says Metaton. He beams. I love it. I love triangle between brothers. One who's obviously No, not a love triangle. No triangle? You like both of them. Both? You don't want to choose. Which one looks to you as if you've grown a second height? A combination of horror and fascination. I think I adore you, he says. If you do survive and things work out, please invite me to that wedding. Of course! That is enough! Blusters Papyrus, scarlet-covered skull. The humans should be going now. On a date with you and Sans? Metaton teases. Cease your mockery, says Papyrus as he marches across the set, grabs your hand and proceeds to drag you out. His skull is redder than a batch of strawberries. Toodles! Thank you for coming in! You shout your thanks back before Papyrus shuts the door behind you. It's quiet outside, and Papyrus lets go of your hand. He keeps his back to you. He is quiet. Long enough that you decide to reach out to him, and he steps away from you and turns around. His expression is difficult to read. He walks around you. He places a hand on your shoulders and turns you to face down one of the streets. Walk down this street, stay on the road until you reach an elevator. It will be a long walk for you and your short little human legs, he says. But do not stop. Take the elevator, go through the hall, and then when you exit the hall, you'll have arrived at the castle. You can avoid the king and go straight to the barrier behind the castle. Stay out of the throne room and you'll be fine. He squeezes your shoulder. Go, human. You try to turn around to face Papyrus, but he grips on your shoulders too tight and he will not let you see. Do not. He pauses, his voice becoming gentle. Do not be killed, Twinkle. Oh, Papyrus. Oh, this is so hard for him. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. You feel your cheeks getting wet. Papyrus lets go of your shoulder and you turn around quickly, but you only see a shimmer in the air and he's gone. It's only you. You need a moment to recollect yourself. Ah, Papyrus. Papyrus ran away too. Oh. My gosh. Poor baby. He's upset. I mean, because Papyrus now knows for certain that everything we said is true, all because of Metatron's lie test. The lie detector thing has just confirmed it even more to Papyrus, and obviously to Sans. We're not lying. We mean our affection and we mean our feelings. There is no way to go around it at this point. Oh. And he's just really hoping we don't get killed by Asgore. I love this road. I think I'm gonna cry. I think I'm close to crying. I wanted to hug Papyrus. It's so hard for him. Because he's been faced with so many humans that have been hostile, scared of him, hysterical, sobbing. And he finally meets a human that's nice to him. And he actually goes on a date. And he has fun. And he feels the same way. And then he has to let them go. And, you know, he doesn't know if we're going to make it past Asgore. And he's the younger brother. And I'm about to go up against freaking Sans. Fudge and biscuits. Papyrus just left. Now it's time to check on Gaster. Let's go and check and see how our strong, independent man with void is doing. At this point, we can only now go and check how our entity in the void is doing. You are nearing the end of your journey. Is there anything you've forgotten? You must help the entity and you decide to check up on them again. You need to find a spot out of the way. You know going into the void tires you out. You move off to the main road and lean against the side of one of the buildings. You take a deep and steady your heart. You put your hands in your pocket. You feel the paper you've taken earlier. That's right, you took out this paper and you look at it. The more you stare, the more you feel like you know these symbols. Why do you know these symbols? You think carefully. They are not symbols you've seen on the surface. You are not certain of that. You are very certain of that. They do not look like any of the dead human language, nor is there any similarity to the current written language. Did you see these in the ruins? But no, You couldn't read the symbols in the ruins. These you should be able to read, or at least you think you should be able to read them. Why? You squint your eyes. It then occurs to you. The entity. These symbols. They look how the entity talks in your head. It's that static language that has a written one. You're positive it is. Does this belong to the entity? Let's find out. You close your eyes and let yourself slip back into the void. Hands are on you right away. The horrible wrongness prevails over all else, but as the hands are familiar, you know these hands. These are the entities. Has the entity found a way out of the void? Not yet. Does he recognize the paper in your pocket? The hand moves down you. You feel them slide across your abdomen and sides, and they rummage through your sweater pocket. There is a pause. Yes! There's excitement in the entity's voice. This is mine. I remember now. I know who I am. I am Wingerding's Gaster. That's wonderful. Does that mean he knows how to escape? Maybe. Let me think it over. All around good news. You're relieved to leave the void, both because it's a horrible place you hate and because Wingerdings might be able to escape. Ah, hell, you want to throw up. You brace yourself against your knees and take many deep breaths. You really hate this place. You start to wander around the city. You want to walk off the feeling of being in the void. Okay. Seems we have one last thing we can do here, which is we were talking to Undie. We're going to ask her about the paper, which I've handed to her right now. You pull out the paper from your pocket. Whoa, that's Dr. Gaster's code, she says. I haven't seen that in like a long time. Did she know Wingerdings? Kind of. He was a royal scientist. He ran the lab back in the day, she says. Crazy genius. Emphasize on the crazy. You think of your own encounter with Wingerdings. He didn't strike you as crazy. Then again, how did he end up in the void? You're lucky you never met him. He would have used you as a test subject in a heartbeat. Alfie said he was always obsessed with testing souls, she says. Your smile becomes a little forced. You asked her if she can read the paper. Not me, she says. Papyrus or Sans probably could, since Wingerdings is their brother. Arg, you just finished talking to Sans on Papyrus recently. What? Both of them? Yes, you hung out with Sans at his sentry station and then went on a date with Papyrus. Wait, Metatron wasn't lying about the romance? Undie's yellow eyes bulge. Her mouth curls into a huge grin that shows off her sharp teeth. No shit, really? She slings one arm around your shoulder. She ruffles your hair, laughing. You can't like anyone nicer than Papyrus, she says approvingly. Then she frowns. But you also can't pick anyone worse than Sans. You sound like the perfect balance then, although you would like to add that you don't think Sans is that bad. She snorts. Your optimism's borders on delusion. Wish you and Pop's the best, but do yourself a favor and stay away from Sans. You tease Undie like sounds like she's worrying about you. She huffs. Worry about Papyrus more than you. If that dweeb likes you and Sans hurts you, it won't end up well for anyone. Don't be too greedy, human. You never reach your dream if you don't even try. And your dream is for 2 skeleton monsters at the same time? She dryly asks you. Maybe 3. And Undie starts to howl with laughter. Fuck, that's hilarious. Oh, stars! She laughs so hard she has to bend over and clutch at her gut. Stars, if that works out, I'll fucking obliterate for you. That's so stupid. You hold her to that. She claps her hand on your back and snickers. Take care of yourself, Twinkle. I'm rooting for you now. If only to see what either this is going to be the greatest relationship of all time or some dramatic dumpster fire of toxicity come to life. You aim for the first. Yeah, I bet you are. It's time to leave the city. Okay. So a quick rundown. We died. I'm pursuing every skeleton so far. Yay me! I've still got the gold chain. Tori saw me on MTTV and she's thinking about me. The dolls got killed out of Grillbees because they were too loud again. Sharon saw me, wants to sing with me. And Dr. Alphys saw me on TV. So yeah. The only thing I need to know is what is Gaster saying here. So 1 second. Okay, so what I think this says by here, it says, type in all caps for WD Gaster's language, smiley face. I think. But of course, when I try to type, nothing happens. So I don't know if that is actually correct, if that is what that says translated. But according to the thing I'm using to translate it, that's what it says. I'm not sure if it's correct. Darkpetals, is that correct? I don't know if it is. So I think that's what it says. I'm not sure though. But anyway, let's move on to the next part.